สวัสดีค่ะ and welcome to Thailand News Update. In today's news, the Test and Go version 2 program racking up registration numbers, a BMW buried under a palm plantation, and Batman and Superman selling sugarcane juice. All that and more coming up. Registrations are starting to rack up after the first day of crashes on the Thailand Pass website. Eventually, a total of 23,660 inbound travelers registered for entry under the Test and Go version 2 program on Tuesday, the first day the suspended travel scheme resumed. Covering all the Thailand Pass options, including the Sandboxes and alternative quarantine, 29,194 foreigners applied for the Thailand Pass on the first day. Registration for a Thailand Pass, which all travelers must have at this time to re-enter Thailand, is valid for up to 60 days after approval. Thai PM Prayut Chan-o-cha made a statement yesterday attaching importance to using what he described as soft power to promote tourism and culture, placing emphasis on wellness and health tourism. Meanwhile, the Deputy PM and Public Health Minister Anutin Chanvirakul doubled down after almost universal online criticism about the two-test requirements for test-and-go arrivals, saying that the additional testing is a safe approach to handling visitors and containing the spread of the virus. Asked if the government will consider easing current COVID restrictions, like allowing nightlife and bar venues to reopen, Anutin again reiterated that such venues must be strictly controlled, though they are currently allowed to operate as restaurants to earn some money and keep their businesses running. He said, quote, "Almost all clusters of infections started from alcohol consumption and strict controls must remain in place," end quote. I'll update today's COVID statistics at the end of today's news. Thai authorities say they are determined to take steps to end the long-standing problem on tiger poaching. The move follows last month's case where two Bengal tigers were killed at a national park in the western province of Buri. Park officials found the tiger pelts hung up at a camp and the meat cooking on a grill. The country's Department of National Parks, Wildlife and Plant Conservation is now talking action to protect the wildcats. These steps include banning people from raising cows in national parks and wildlife sanctuaries in southern parts of western forests. These steps include banning people from raising cows in national parks and wildlife sanctuaries in southern parts of western forests and creating a joint committee with environmental organizations that will prepare 10-year plans to conserve wild tigers. Last month, 5 people allegedly poached 2 Bengal tigers in Khao Lam National Park in Buri. The poachers claimed the tigers had eaten 20 cows that belonged to them and local farmers. All poachers had to leave their homes in the park within 30 days. If they didn't comply, they had to pay a fine of between 400,000 and 2 million baht. A car has been found buried at a palm plantation in the southern province of Nakhon Si Thammarat. But what is interesting about the case is that the vehicle belonged to a 52-year-old American man who, according to the reports, left the country 10 years ago. The bronze BMW had been buried about a meter deep. Once the vehicle was uncovered, officers checked the registration number and found that the car was owned by an American man named Michael. When police visited a home in Phuket that the man used to rent, neighbors shared that they used to see a man driving the BMW before, but he left the house a long time ago. Reports say that the man traveled out of Thailand through the Suvarnabhumi Airport immigration checkpoint back in February 2012. Thai authorities are now trying to contact the American to find out what led to the burial of the car. The palm plantation owner will also be investigated to see if there's any connection to the case. A Thai sugarcane farmer in Prachin, Buri and his brother-in-law are dressing up as Batman and Superman to attract more customers. The big S on his chest is a good start. Sales had dropped since the COVID-19 pandemic, and the two needed a way to market their crops. The two men sell sugarcane juice every day between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. at the intersection in Buri, a district in Prachin, Buri. They say once they started wearing the costumes, many bikers noticed them and stopped to buy a drink. Food vendors are one of the industries in Thailand hit hardest by the pandemic, since would-be customers have been scared to buy street food because of the fear of spreading germs. Meanwhile, the demand for food delivery in Bangkok rose from a 68.8 million baht business in 2020 to 74 million baht in 2021. Euromonitor says it would be as much as 99 million baht in 2024. By the way, if you're driving past Superman and Batman in Prachin, Buri, just the east of Bangkok, don't forget to drop in for a quick drink with the superheroes. A cemetery in the northern province of Prachin showed movies, traditional performances, and fireworks on Chinese New Year, February 1st. The performances and fireworks began at 5 p.m., honoring the cemetery's local guardian spirits. The cemetery's foundation then screened 3 movies for the deceased in its 330 graves. The movies catered for all tastes and were Thai and Chinese classic. The foundation has hosted the performances and screenings on Chinese New Year for 57 years in a row. Restrictions during the COVID-19 pandemic have hit Chinese New Year celebrations hard in Thailand, with festivals canceled in Bangkok's Chinatown. Although there were still a few dragons and fireworks welcoming the Year of the Tiger. Although the Philippines is set to reopen its doors to fully vaccinated international visitors this month, the U.S. Center for Disease Control is advising its citizens not to travel there due to a very high level of COVID-19 infections. The CDC released a statement that anyone planning to go to the Philippines may still be at risk of infections with the virus, even if their vaccinations are up to date, and urged them to be vaccinated properly. The Philippines is one of around 130 countries and territories with a level 4 very high advisory by the U.S. CDC. The Philippines is reopening to fully vaccinated travelers on February 10th after nearly 2 years of closed borders due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Travelers from 157 countries will be eligible to enter without undergoing a quarantine period. They will just need to test negative for COVID before arrival. Yesterday, the Philippines reported 9,465 new infections, showing a substantial downward trend over the past 2 weeks, and a similar number to that reported in Thailand yesterday. And now for a quick update on the COVID-19 situation here in Thailand. The CCSA has reported 9,172 new cases of COVID-19 with 21 new deaths. According to the latest reports, there are currently 84,413 in care and 7,882 released from care within the past 24 hours. And that wraps up the morning news for today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up with all the latest news around Thailand and the region. Also, click on the boxes here to watch Good Morning Thailand with Tim and Jay, and also Thailand News Update this evening with Jet Gunther. I'm Natty from the Thaiger. สวัสดีค่ะ